Let's turn this into this. Supplies are going to be any empty Pokemon tin, and this also applies for altoid tins. Scissors, double-sided tape, something to write on the fabric with, I have a white gel pen, a ruler, velvet fabric, chipboard or thin cardboard, you can use a cereal box, felt, a lighter, and a hot glue gun. As far as fabric, I know it can get pricey. My first one I did, I just went to Goodwill and grabbed a shirt with this type of velvety material. But today I'm using fabric from Joann's. This is how the inside of every Pokemon tin looks. It's pretty curved. So you want to get your felt and cut out rectangles that are going to be 4.5 inches by 2 3/4. Do that until you have 4 equal pieces. But that last piece, you want it to be smaller than the rest because that hits those curves at the top and it just needs to be shorter. You can pretty much just eyeball it. I just take off a thin piece at the end, and this is how it is compared to the other ones. These felt pieces are going to be rolled up to hold the rings. So first I just set down something so that the hot glue doesn't mess up my desk, and you start by rolling the felt to the halfway mark and then putting a line of hot glue so that it secures it in place, and then just keep rolling very tightly until you reach the end. Once you reach the end, you're gonna light it up and you're gonna smoke it. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. So you're just gonna put a thin line of hot glue on the end there and roll it up, and this is why I put that sheet down, because I like to get it nice and tight, and then some of the hot glue comes off, but that's okay. You just want it to be as tight as possible. Repeat that process with all of them until you have 4, and then just double check to make sure that they fit in there. So now we're going to make 2 bottom panels to fit on the bottom of the case and the top of the case. And for this, at first I just kind of measured it by outlining the tin and then cutting it out and kind of just going back and forth method until I reached the desired size. But if you want the actual measurements, then just cut out cardboard squares and then angle out the curves until you get what you want. So these little squares are going to be 4.5 by 2 3/4, and then just continue to curve out the angles. Set those aside, and now we're going to start to put fabric on the ring rolls. So you want to make sure that there's fabric wrapping around the entire ring roll. Some people like to lay down an entire sheet over all the ring rolls and sew it in, but I just find this easier. So once you measure out that first ring roll, use that first sheet as a guide and cut out 3 more. Do that until you have 4 sheets of fabric. Gluing the ring roll on, you want to make sure that this ugly seam is facing up, and you want to put hot glue on that and try to have the edge of each piece of the fabric meeting at that seam. And if you have any leftover fabric, just go ahead and cut that off. You want to try to have every single seam, like even the sides here, you want to tuck these in. So just put hot glue on the sides of the felt and fold it over, meeting at that back seam. You just want to make sure that whatever is visible on the ring roll is as smooth as possible. So cut off the excess, and once you cut off the excess, you are gonna pull out your lighter, and don't be scared, but just lightly put it on the seams so that you get rid of the frayed sections. And I try to show you like how it looks up close, but it's kind of satisfying. So just do that around each section. Repeat that process 4 more times with all the ring rolls until you have all 4. So now we're going to put fabric on our bottom panels. So for this, just slightly trace about a 1/2 inch around each of the cardboard pieces and cut those sections out. So for this, you can use hot glue if you don't have the double-sided tape. I just find with the hot glue it kind of bunches underneath, and the double-sided tape holds super well and it's super flat, so that's why I like to use that. So just fill it with double-sided tape, flip it over on the non-velvet side so that it's flat, and then once you do that, you're going to put double-sided tape around each edge only on the other side. You don't need to cover the entire other side because it's not going to be visible. You just want to do the edges so that you can fold the fabric all the way around until each edge of the fabric is touching a piece of the tape. And don't worry if it looks crazy, because again, you're just gonna clean it up by cutting off the excess fabric, and then again, you're gonna use your lighter and cleaning up and getting rid of the frayed edges. Just double check and make sure that it fits in there nicely, and then you're gonna repeat that process with the other panel as well. But for now, we wanna make sure that we glue the bottom panel first, and I like to just do half and halves to make sure that each side is getting a piece of the hot glue. And now we're just gonna line up each of our ring rolls one by one, put down a line of hot glue, and this one is most important that you want to hold because it always has like a little section, like a gap in the back. So the longer you push and hold it, the less gap that you're gonna have. So just repeat this process with all the ring rolls, hold them in place until the glue dries, and then you're done. And if you have glue that looks like shit there, don't worry about it because we're gonna cover it. So now we want to do like a little wall in between that first ring roll and the section that doesn't have anything on there. And for this one, it's not like a huge deal, just like lightly measure it, and as long as it fits right in there. The only thing that matters the most is how tall the wall is. So when you turn this tin to the side while it's in there, you don't want to see any cardboard showing at all. And you want to make sure that it's a little shorter than that wall, because once you put the fabric on, it's gonna make it a little thicker anyway. So for this little piece of cardboard, you want to add 2 strips of double-sided tape, and you're gonna repeat the same process that you did with the bottom panels with this tiny little piece of cardboard. This entire process took about 3 episodes of Baby This Is Keke Palmer. So that's about 2.5 hours, if anyone was wondering. And I love Keke Palmer. Just a random little tidbit. Okay, so now same process. You're just gonna burn the frayed edges and make sure that it fits in there first. And you're just gonna put a line of hot glue on that last ring roll and hold it in there. So now we're gonna do the curved edge walls, that really long strip of wall. And I definitely screwed this up, so this is me screwing up for you so you don't have to. So just wait until I give you the measurements. So this is how I first did it. Don't do this. I mean, you can do this, but something just did not work out. So this is the foreshadowing moment of me fucking up and understanding that I fucked up. So instead of doing that, first measure out a long strip that is 6 1/4 by 5/8, and you should get the perfect strip. And once you get that strip, just repeat the same process of how we got the fabric on all the other panels. I enjoyed this episode of Keke Palmer with Usher because he basically low-key told her that she's with the wrong person, which we all told her. But anyway, double check and make sure that it's a perfect fit before you do any gluing. And once you do that, go ahead and glue that onto the inside walls. And if there's any little gaps, go ahead and fold them over, or if they're peeking out, just poke it through. Fold them a little out and add some hot glue and hold it in. Just make sure that you don't get any of the hot glue on the velvets, because it's so much easier to get it off of the tin. If you get on the velvet, it's like bad. So now all that we have left is that top panel, and we're just going to repeat the process that we did on the bottom on the top. Just hot glue that in there, and once you do, you should be all done. And once you have that last step, go ahead and close the tin together. Make sure that it closes well, nothing is stuck or anything. And now you can have your super cute jewelry in your little Pokemon tin. That's it. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions that I didn't answer.